Hello. Most of you, if you are watching this video, you already know me because you've probably been talking to me. But if you don't, if for some reason you're seeing this and we haven't talked and you've just clicked on something that I've posted, my name is terriacruce. I am a Beachbody coach with Team Beachbody, and I have been for coming up on 2 years now. Almost, no, actually 3 years. But the reason I wanted to make this video is because it occurred to me that when I'm talking to people about coaching and I'm posting about coaching and, maybe I've got somebody who's actually interested, or maybe it's you. Maybe you're somebody who's interested and you're not sure what it's all about, and maybe you wonder what is this weird thing that she's doing, and it's probably not for me, that kind of thing. But the point is, you've been talking to me, and I do have some presentations that I can send you and that give you more information, but I thought, since it's my story that you started out relating to some degree, that maybe it would be a good thing to find out what brought me to where I am and why I'm a coach. And, I don't want this to be a really long video, but I just wanted to give you, just from my perspective and, my heartfelt reasons for why I truly believe in this business. And there's a lot of them, and I could go on in detail about many of them. But just a little background story about me. 3 years ago, I moved to Omaha, Nebraska from Southern California. Some of you know that. I was doing legal transcription, which basically strapped me to my computer for long hours, but didn't make me a lot of money. And it wasn't very much fun, but it was a way for me to stay home with my kids. And I had reached an age where my whole life I was always thin. I could eat and do whatever I wanted to do. I never really gave a lot of thought to what I was eating. And then all of a sudden, I hit an age. I don't remember exactly where it started to happen, because I think like a lot of you can probably relate to this, it sort of creeps up on you when you aren't looking. So I realized all of a sudden that I didn't like what I looked like. I'd see pictures of myself and I would go, oh my God, is that what I look like? Or, I'd catch a glimpse of myself when I was walking through the mall, especially in the summer, but any time of year, but more so in the summer because I had shorts on and things. And I would catch a glimpse of myself and I would just shudder, because it wasn't the image that I had in my mind of who I was and always had been. And there was a total disconnect there, and it made me unhappy. And I actually, I went through a period of time where I struggled and tried to figure out what to do. I tried a few various different things. I think I did. I'm not even going to mention them because some of them might be good products, but just didn't work for me. But then one day I was watching an infomercial in the morning that used to come on repeatedly. If you've ever read my blog post, there's a blog on there. There's something on there about how I used to eat breakfast in the morning and I'd watch TV before I started my day. And what I would watch, there would be infomercials that would come on. And at that time, it was Turbo Jam. And many of you might know what Turbo Jam is, but it's basically a kickboxing, not hardcore kickboxing, but kickboxing and cardio and dance moves and music. And it just looked like fun. And I remember looking at that and thinking, that looks like something I might stick with, because everything else I had tried I hadn't stuck with. And, I watched that infomercial over and over and over again before I finally sprung for it. And it wasn't an expensive program, but I didn't want to spend money on something, even if it was a small amount of money, that I didn't think was going to work or I wasn't sure of. And I finally just came to the conclusion that I'm not out that much money. If it doesn't work, what's the worst thing that can happen? I mean, I suppose I could send it back, or I could just, I'm not going to go into the poorhouse because I bought Turbo Jam. So I bought it. Long story short, I started doing it. I played around with times to work out. I did a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I finally settled on early mornings for me. But the point is, I found something that I stuck with, and I have never stopped ever since. I have always stuck with it. I became what I consider a Beachbody nerd. So every time they came out with a new product, I was like, which one is this? Oh, I want it. Oh, I got to have that one. I mean, that's how I was. And I bought them. I snapped them up. I bought Chalene Extreme. I bought Hip Hop Abs. And, back then, they didn't have all the programs that they do now, but they've got a lot more now. They had P90X, but that wasn't one that I really looked at that closely back then. And so anyway, long story short, I started to think, gosh, if only I had found some way to, I really love this. It's so much fun. It makes me feel good. I'm getting in shape. Long story short, I did drop from a size 12 to a 4. And I would have just kept going up from the 12 and way up into the plus sizes, I'm sure, if I had not stopped it when I did. because that's where I was headed. My mother went down that path, and I knew that was my path if I didn't do something. So anyway, I realized that I loved what I was doing. I enjoyed it. I was always talking about it and telling people that this is so much fun. I feel so much better. And I started thinking, I wish I had found something I could have done in the fitness industry. But, you know, I'm so much older now, and that's really a young person's thing. You know, all the things that went through my head that made me think this isn't for me. And then I saw the coach opportunity pop up on the website, which wasn't there when I first started because coaching wasn't really something that was available to you then. And I still didn't really even click on it. I didn't even look at it because I thought, well, you know, again, it's not for me. It's for somebody more fit, more this, more that, younger, prettier, you know, any number of things that I thought would make that not for me. Plus, I really didn't really get it. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was personal trainers. I didn't really understand. So, you know, fast forward a little bit. I'm on Beachbody. I'm so into it that I'm on Facebook, and I'm going onto the Chalene Extreme page and places like that where I met my coach, Hillary Kelly, who changed my life. It literally changed my life in ways that are hard to articulate. That moment, when I ran across her and she found me on one of those pages and I started to connect with her and I started to get to know her and I started to realize she's a coach. Oh, she's not, you know, I mean, she was in good shape, yes, but she had a transformation story that was even more compelling than mine had been. I just didn't see that at first. But I saw it as I started to watch her posts and I started to see what she was putting up, and I soon realized, hey, you know what? That does look like something maybe I could do. So, you know, it took me a while. I watched her posts. I worried about, like a lot of you probably do, is it a scam? Is it this? Is it that? Well, you know, would I sink a lot of money into it and go broke? Because I had done other things. I had done one of the leading cosmetic companies some years back. I won't name it. Probably most of you, there's only a couple, so you can figure it out. But it didn't work for me, and maybe the timing was wrong. Maybe it was because I had to buy product and stockpile it in my house that I wasn't selling, and so basically I was spending a lot of money and I wasn't getting anything back. I had to set up home parties, not my thing. So, you know, it didn't work. So I got out of that. So I did have some hesitation about doing something else that was in the same vein. But I finally thought, you know what? It's an opportunity. It's a chance for me to try something in the fitness industry that I wouldn't have had before. So I went for it. And mind you, by this time, the only real outlay of cost, it cost $40 to sign up as a coach. Now there are ways you can come in with a program and your Shakeology, which is really what tipped the scale, because I started drinking Shakeology. It's made tons of difference. I think it is the final piece of the puzzle that really brought me to where I am today as far as physical health is concerned. And so really the only thing I was paying for every month, I realized, was my own personal products. I wasn't having to stockpile things and buy things to later maybe sell or maybe not and have it pile up in my garage or my closet, which is what happened with the other thing. So this was perfect. This was perfect. I thought I can work on my own fitness, and even if that's all I get out of it, I'm still getting something out of it because I'm only paying for my own products I'd be buying anyway. But as a coach, I'm getting them at 25% off. It's a no-brainer by that time. I mean, that just made so much sense to me. And I really did come into this thinking that that would be all I would probably do. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, you know, I'm getting really tired of doing what I do. I'm really tired of being strapped to my computer all day long and really not making that much money and being at the whim of court reporters who would call me up and say, the job I took today is a rush, and all of a sudden my day has just turned to crap because I've got to stop what I'm doing, whatever I might have had planned, and do that instead. And I was getting tired of it. I've done that since my now 21-year-old, almost 22-year-old was a baby. So I've pretty much had it by that time. This was about 3 years ago. I just figured, well, you know what? It's a way for me to stay home, so I was willing to do it. I didn't make a ton of money, and it certainly didn't really help a lot. It gave us a little bit of extra spending money, but it wasn't a big deal. This, on the other hand, once I got into it and I started, and my coach right away started saying, you know, do you want to push a little harder? You don't have to. And that's the beauty of this, guys. You don't have to do anything except get your discount on your products, and it's worth it for that alone. If you're on Shakeology, I will make that qualification. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. But if you're drinking Shakeology or you want to drink Shakeology, then being as a coach is the best way to do it. But I also began to see the potential. I started watching people and seeing what they were doing. And they were going on these trips to Hawaii. Back then, I think one of the trips when I first signed up was they went to Hawaii. And I was thinking, wow, they get to do that as a coach? And I thought, no, that's just the really good people. I'll never do that. Well, I have now been on a cruise to the Bahamas as part of this, a trip I qualified for. That was the first year. The second year, what was it last year? Oh, how could I forget? We went to the Atlantis in the Bahamas, that fancy hotel that I've always wanted to go to. That was a trip. I didn't have to pay for this. I qualified through this business. And this year, it's a trip to Disney World, and it's in March, and that's coming up really soon here. And next year, it's another cruise, and it's just going to be a cruise filled it's just going to be a Beachbody cruise. We're going to basically take over the ship, and it's going to go into what is it, Cozumel? I can't remember the exact places. It's not a Bahamas cruise. It's a different part of the Caribbean. Things I never thought I would do. I went on a trip last year with Hillary, my coach, took some of her top coaches. And believe I'm a top coach in her team. Who would have thunk? Certainly not little old me 3 years ago watching that Turbo Jam commercial on TV, let me tell you. But I went to the Dominican Republic and spent a week there and again, she paid for that. And just to give you an idea about her, she came in as a stay-at-home mom, and now her husband doesn't work anymore, and they live on her income, and she makes plenty of money for them to travel and do whatever they want, and they're both home with their kids. I mean, yes, it does require a commitment if you want to grow a business. Yes, it does require you to be trained and learn what to do. But here's the thing. It is definitely something that you can work. It's just up to you how much you want to work it. And you can do everything from a 25% discount on your products and get fit and healthy. Or you can work on your own fitness and health while you make money. And the income potential is huge. I have more than covered. I make way more money than I've ever made in my life, and certainly more than I made doing legal transcription by a long shot. We no longer have a mortgage payment. We now can afford to do things that, I came from a time where I used to scrape the bottom of the barrel. I would look in our account and think, oh, God, I can't even afford to go to the grocery store. I mean, I remember those days. And this has totally given us some independence that we never would have had, and it's just going to keep getting bigger. And the best part about it is I'm getting fit while I'm doing it. I get every morning when I go down into my basement and work out, I know that it's part of what I do, and it's part of what I share with people. And, I'm not a fitness guru. I'm not a personal trainer. I don't even come from a sales background. I have none of those things. I'm just a mom who raised 2 kids and reached a point in her life where she really wanted more. And that's all I am. And I found the perfect thing. And it is so reasonably priced to get in. I know people think, well, I can't really afford it. What other business can you start for a minimum if you come in with a challenge pack, which is the best way to go, but that would be something I would talk to you about. But you can come in anywhere from $40 for your sign-up fee, which I don't recommend doing unless you're going to commit to Shakeology. And then just your Shakeology. That's it. That's all you need to get started. Nothing more than that. End of story. You're a coach. You get your discount on your Shakeology. That's all you paid. So now you have something that you can use to bring in money in your house and build an income and create a life that is really up to you. It's whatever you decide you want to do with it. You can, like I said, do everything from just get a discount on your products and continue with whatever it is you've got going now, or you can use this to build your dreams. Seriously, you really can. And I didn't believe that when I first started. I really thought, oh no, only the really top people. And I see myself headed in that direction. I've already surpassed anything I've ever done in my life financially. I'm already way beyond anywhere I've ever been. I'm happier. I don't report to anybody. I don't have to ask for time off. Nobody tells me what to do or when to do it. Those are all my decisions. I do whatever I want, go wherever I want to go, just because I want to. I don't have anybody beating me over the head to do it. Yes, it does mean that I have to work daily on my business a little bit, and some days more than others. There are certain key tasks that I do every day, which I can literally do in an hour if I only have an hour. Or I can spend more time. It's totally up to me. But you can grow a very successful business without spending a ton of time. Believe me, I know because I'm doing it, and I'm surrounded by people every day who have done it and are still doing it and continuing to do it. So I'm going to cut this short. I might, I just wanted to share from my heart my story and why I believe this is such a great opportunity. It may not be for everybody. If you're not, even if all you want is discount on your products, you're ahead of the game. But if you put any time and effort into it, and if you can share a restaurant or a movie, and if you've ever raved to somebody and said, "Oh my God, you got to go see," whatever movie is out right now. You have to see it. It's the best movie. I'll even go with you. Oh, I want to see it again. Have you ever done that? If you've done that, that's what a coach does. That's it. That's what they do. The only difference is when they go to that movie, in this case, they would be buying a workout program or joining your challenge, and they buy their package from you. It's the only difference. Otherwise, it's exactly the same mentality. And there's amazing training, and the world really is your oyster if you decide you would like to try this. So I wanted to just share my story, and if this has sparked your interest and made you think, yeah, this might be for you after all, then we can jump on a phone call and I can talk to you and answer your questions. So that's it for today. I hope it's been enlightening and interesting. Thanks.